We met at a restaurant. I was working as a waitress, and we ended up texting, and we went out, for a drink, and it was more like a whirlwind. He moved in within a few months because of how fallen in love I was, because it was so quick and so grand. He did the grandiose gestures. Looking back now, I realized that there was no substance to our relationship. It was just, he made me feel good. So the abuse pretty much started at the very beginning of our relationship when we were dating. But I would always excuse his abuse. So when he threw me across the room because I was trying to leave, it was that he just wanted to make it work and he didn't want me to go. When we got married, I was a stay-at-home mom for 4 years, and when we got married, before that, I had moved to Texas with him because of a job. And when I got there, I wasn't allowed to have access to our marital funds, so I didn't have a bank account. I had a credit card, but I wasn't allowed to use it without his permission. And we only had one car, so majority of the time I was stranded in the apartment. The pretty drastic abuse didn't happen until we moved to North Carolina. And, in every instance, I felt like I was at fault for it. So when he handcuffed me and pretended to call the police and saying that they wouldn't believe that he was being abusive to me because of mental health issues or whatever, and because he was in law enforcement, he would always tell me that if I had tried to leave, that he would take my son from me. When we were in North Carolina, the abuse was intense and very violent, but because I saw it as my fault, I always felt like if I could do better, if I was better, if I was a better wife, or I did more, or I didn't aggravate him so much, then it would stop. Then it would get better and go back to the way it was at the very beginning of our relationship. So I was scared. I was beyond scared of leaving. And so before we moved to South Dakota, he told me oh, this will be our haven, this will be our place that we start over, and I won't be like that. I'll be the best husband I can be, and it'll be great. We'll be away from all of our problems. And so we moved here, and psychologically, it got worse. It was scary. I left at 5 in the morning after he had left for work, and I was scared because his actions were always unpredictable. I never knew when he was coming home. I never knew really what to expect with him. So when I woke up that morning, it was the scariest morning of my entire life. And I remember it so vividly because it was the coldest day in South Dakota. It was -2, the wind chill was crazy. And we moved into this apartment, this very small 1-bedroom apartment. And I had no bed, I had no couch, no table, no TV. I had no kitchen appliances. I had nothing. So I was going from being a stay-at-home mom to a single mom with no job very quickly. And because of his unpredictability, I was so scared. I thought that he would come and he would kill me.
I think the people that walk in the door that I see every day are some of the most courageous people that I've ever met. To be able to live through the journeys that they've gone through and be able to walk in the door and talk with me and share about those is sometimes the hardest thing that people can do.
I started counseling at the Compass Center, and I went every week, and I still go quite frequently. And every week I was there dealing with the aftermath of the whole thing, and we had a brutal custody battle.
We work with survivors of sexual and domestic violence and offer them completely free services that they can have as long as they wish. A lot of the services they get from us are counseling, from play therapy through EMDR, through traditional talking back and forth therapy, and they get that for as long as they need. They can have advocacy, which means we provide somebody to help them when they want to go to report to law enforcement. We have somebody who can be with them in the courtroom as they hear the other person tell their side of the story. And we have somebody that can help with protection orders, finding different things in the community that a survivor might need in order to live on his or her own. And then we also have a lawyer on staff, and that attorney is a civil attorney and can help survivors with any kind of civil matter that they need help with, which may mean helping in a divorce proceeding, helping with child custody, or helping with employment law. And she is there to listen to their story and see if she can fill in whatever need that they need met.
I feel like without the Compass Center there to help me get through all of this, like I would probably not be as healthy as I am.
I think it's really important to realize that stopping sexual assault or domestic violence is not the sole burden of the person being abused. It's really everyone's responsibility, even to just reach out to them and say, are you okay? Do you feel safe? Or help them if they need to report it. Those are the types of things that we really see as needed in our society today.
I've had a lot of people come up to me and tell me, like, I have this person who is in my life who's being abused by their husband or whatever, and I don't know what to do about it. I don't understand why she won't leave. I don't get it. And they get mad at the victim because they're not leaving the situation. I want people to understand that it is not as simple as just getting up and leaving. There's a whole huge element of fear that lies within a domestic violence situation.
In some cases of domestic violence or sexual assault, the victim may not be the one that wants to report it. You may need to be the one.
We need you to speak up. We need you to support your neighbor. We need you to bring this to the forefront so that ultimately we can all make a positive difference.
South Dakota is above the national average when it comes to sexual and domestic violence. It is up to us to change that. Be the one.
We want Sioux Falls to step up for everybody to be the one who stands up to domestic violence and sexual assault.
I really think that if people just took some time to listen and to either guide them to the Compass Center or help them along the way, that would greatly increase the amount of people that leave because they have a support system.